What's up, readers and shakers? It's your girl, Rhonda M Lawson, sending you a personal invite to the Literary Lounge. Tune in to Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions each Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for the best in literary conversation. Each week, a different author will join us to talk to their most important readers, you. You can also call in to ask your own questions. So don't forget, each Wednesday at 7 p.m., join us in the lounge for Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. See you there.
Are you looking for a home to live stream your next event? Give us a call here at Bethesda Community Event Center, the only place on the Gulf Coast that can host and broadcast live your wedding reception, your baby shower, business seminar, and any other special event. Give us a call at 504-708-9454 for more details.
Happy Merry Mondays. It's your girl, Mary J. I want you to tune in with me to Real Talk with Mary J on New Orleans Talk Network every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Then follow me to blogtalkradio.com/Real Talk with Mary J at 10 p.m. It's going to be a Merry Monday every Monday at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. You've just tuned into New Orleans Talk Network.
What's up, readers and shakers?
Oh yeah, we live, dude. We in here. New Orleans, baby. Yeah.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Rhonda M Lawson, and I am back with a new episode of Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. Tonight's going to be a really cool night. First of all, we have two very good-looking men on the show, and I love it when that happens, you know? But not only are these two very good-looking men, but these are two very good-looking men with very great messages. First, we're going to have Mr. Jay Jones, who's going to be talking with us about how we as business professionals and small business owners can increase our business, how we can improve our businesses, increase our revenue, and help us to run our businesses on systems. I've been reading this very interesting book called The E-Myth Revisited. And the E-Myth is all about how many times we as business owners become technicians in our own businesses. So instead of us owning the business basically owns us. So we're going to be talking about that and exploring that a bit with Jay Jones. And then after that, we have Mr. Victor McGlothin, who is a best-selling author, 16 times published. This man has been in the game for so many years. And he's actually one of the authors I looked up to when I first entered the game back in 2004. So I'm really looking forward to talking with him as well. He has a new novel called Backsliders, and we're going to be discussing that book with him today. So if you've not gotten that book, you're probably going to run out and to your favorite bookstore or to go on Amazon, and you're going to get it after this show. I guarantee that's going to happen. But first, let's go ahead and bring on Mr. Jay Jones, who is the CEO of the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. How you doing, Mr. Jones?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much, Rhonda.
And thank you for being on the show. So I'm not sure if you heard the intro, but I was talking about how many times as business owners, we actually instead of us owning the business owns us, because we get so consumed with trying to make it work that we forget that we actually need to put systems into place, and there are things that we can do to help our businesses to become more successful.
Yeah, I was able to hear the intro. And one of the things that you mentioned was the E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. And that's a great book. We have to learn how to start working on our businesses as opposed to working in our businesses.
Amen. Amen. So you have a podcast, and I believe the podcast is also called the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah. I'm on episode 202 coming out on Monday. And you know what, Rhonda? I'm getting some reverb from my headphones. So I'm going to see if I can take my headphones off and you can still hear me, okay?
Okay.
Okay, let me see. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Great. All right. So, all right. Yeah. So Black Entrepreneur Blueprint is my podcast that I started in September of 2014. And it comes out every Monday. And what it really is, it's a culmination of my experience as an entrepreneur, positive and negative. And I also interview other successful Black entrepreneurs on the show. So people who listen to the show for a long time, they really get to know me because I talk a lot about my family, some of my struggles as an entrepreneur, in addition to my successes. So that's really my keystone or my foundation, my platform, so to speak. And everything else, the book and everything else comes off of that platform.
Okay, so would you say that your show is more about giving advice or just getting to know other entrepreneurs and how they've become successful? Or is it maybe a little bit of both?
Well, one of the things about my show is I talk about actionable steps because one of the things is there are a lot of people out there that speak theory, but I speak from experience, and I'm very big on practical application. So I tell you how to get from point A to point B. So every show, there's going to be steps. It doesn't matter what the topic is, unless I'm interviewing somebody else. I'm going to tell you how to do what I'm talking about. So I believe in giving people the actual steps so they can then move forward.
Okay, what are some of the topics that you've discussed? I mentioned earlier you talked a bit about sales funnels. I know that was one thing that you talked about, and then you did mention something about the steps that you have to take or steps that you should take with your business. What are some of the other topics you talked about?
Oh my goodness. Well, I have 201 shows in the can, so I probably talk about everything. So,
Well, you don't have to give us all 200.
well, I talk a lot about e-commerce because e-commerce has been, I've been blessed by being successful in e-commerce after I left corporate America. And I had to reinvent myself. And so I talk a lot about e-commerce, and I have an online course about e-commerce, about building your business, selling products and their services on Amazon, on your own website, creating online courses. And Rhonda, one of the reasons I really talk about e-commerce a lot is on my show, there are two reasons, biggest reasons most people don't become entrepreneurs. Number one is they don't have the time, and number two is they don't have the money. So
Yes.
with e-commerce, if you set your business up correctly, you can still keep your full-time job and you can start your e-commerce business. And when that business takes off, then you can transition to full-time if that's something that you want to talk about, if you really want to do. And that's kind of what I did after I lost almost everything in the mortgage crash. I owned a mortgage business, multi-million-dollar mortgage business.
Wow.
And in '09, I had to shut it down. And I had to reinvent myself, and I had to think, what do I want to come back as? And how do I want my business to look? And that speaks directly to the point of not working in your business, but working on your business. When I had my mortgage company, I had over 40 plus employees. I was working 12, 16-hour days. I was making crazy money, which was great. But I'm more about quality of life. And so I reinvented myself, and I'm a big proponent of working on your business. Now, some of the other topics real quick that I talked about. Last show, I just talked about turning a bum into a Superman. So if you're an entrepreneur and your spouse isn't supporting you, that's a big topic. That's a real point of interest for a lot of entrepreneurs because a lot of times it happened to me. My wife didn't believe that first. And so you're fighting to build your own business, and then you have to fight when you get home with your spouse about, hey, what are you doing? When's the money coming in? That's very detrimental to any successful entrepreneur. So, Ron, I have a gamut of shows. I mean, I got tons of it. Anything you talk about entrepreneurship, I probably talk about.
Okay. Well, let's talk about this. We have a couple minutes before we go to commercial, but I think we have time to touch on this. Is there may be people who think that e-commerce is only for people who sell a certain product. But what about people who don't sell products, they sell services?
Well, e-commerce is a great place. See, there are only 6 things that you can actually sell. Okay? You can sell your physical product, your digital product, and your service. Or you can sell somebody else's physical product, somebody else's digital product, or somebody else's service. So people that sell services, they make a lot of money. For example, one of the businesses that I really work with are lawyers. I do some consulting too. So a lot of lawyers are looking to get more cases. So we created sales funnels for some lawyers to help them generate accident business. And so like slip and falls, car accidents. So that's a big business for lawyer, and that's a service. So you're going to sell one of those 6 things. I don't care who you are, where you're from. There's only 6 things to sell. And what you need to do as an entrepreneur, you have to hone it down as to what you want to sell and what makes sense for your situation.
Okay. Well, I want to revisit that in a minute, but we're going to take a quick break, and then when we get back, we're going to maybe jump into some actionable things that people can do right now that may help them to improve their businesses. And it doesn't have to. No, it doesn't even have to be anything dramatic. Sometimes it's just a small tweak that they can make. So we'll talk about that when we get back. So you guys stay right there. Don't move. Go ahead and get your questions ready because there's some great information that's coming up. And don't forget, we have Victor McGlothin coming up in just a few more minutes. We'll be right back.
What it do, y'all? It's DJ Slick Daddy from the Limelight, here to tell you about the hottest bar on the West Bank, After Dark Sports Bar, 419 LaPelka Boulevard in Gretna. Come check us out on Monday for steak and oyster night. Thursday, free seafood night. Friday, 3-for-1 happy hour. Saturdays, ladies night, and always open for parties. And then Sunday, Saint Sunday, oldie but goodie Sunday. Come find out what is hidden for at After Dark Sports Bar, 419 LaPelka Boulevard in Gretna. Doors open at 6, 12 p.m. on Sundays. After Dark is a non-smoking atmosphere.
Hey yo, what's up? It's your boy DJ Slick Daddy.
This DJ Slick 514.
And of course, I'm your girl, Black Coco.
Tune into the Limelight, New Orleans Talk Network, every Tuesday, 7 to 8:30 with all the trending topics.
And you can also check out my mix, DJ Slick Mix for 1 and 2.
And of course, check out Coco's Sex Tips of the Week.
And hashtag TTBS. That's that bullshit. It's the Limelight, New Orleans Talk Network, Tuesday, 7 to 8:30. We're always live. Let's go.
What's up, readers and shakers? It's your girl, Rhonda M Lawson, sending you a personal invite to the Literary Lounge. Tune in to Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions each Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for the best in literary conversation. Each week, a different author will join us to talk to their most important readers, you. You can also call in to ask your own questions. So don't forget, each Wednesday at 7 p.m., join us in the lounge for Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. See you there.
What it do, y'all? It's DJ Slick Daddy from the Limelight.
And we're back. So we're sitting here talking with the CEO of the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, Mr. Jay Jones, and he's just been giving us some tips. He's been telling us a little bit about his podcast, and he was just about to jump into some tips that people who have their own businesses might be able to do that can help them to improve what they're doing now. And sometimes it doesn't take anything really dramatic to tweak our businesses a bit. Sometimes it just takes just a small change, and maybe it might even be in our approach, the way we actually talk to potential customers. Maybe it could be in the way that we do our systems, or we make our systems. But I'm going to turn this over to the professional, the man himself, and he's going to let us know. Wait, just real quick, Jay. We can't hear you yet. We're gonna fix that. Jay?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, we can hear you now.
Okay, great. So I want to start real quick on the macro, and then I'll hold it down and I'll keep it brief. The first thing that people need to do is they need to identify what type of business that they want to be in. And then they have to kind of work backwards and determine how that business fits into their lifestyle. Because many times we create a business that overwhelms us. I've done that before. And so I always talk about my show, episode 200 was called Pinpoint and Monetize Your Genius. And it's the intersection between your passion and your talent. So I think when people focus on businesses that they have a true interest in, they'll be more successful when times get tough because it's something that they truly have an interest in. So the first thing I would say is to identify what your passion is and the intersection of your talent. And that's your quote unquote genius. And if you can work inside your genius, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I'm at that point right now, and I'm telling you, my life is totally different. So here's some of the things you want to look at and some of the things that you can do as an entrepreneur, prospective entrepreneur. Number one, you want to identify what your ideal life looks like with your business and also your personal life.
Okay.
So for me, for example, I didn't want to have 4 employees anymore, and I wanted to be able to spend a lot of time with my family. I have 2 daughters and a wife, and that was paramount to me. Identify what's important to you, and then create your business around that. Okay. Number 2, you focus on what your passion is and what your talents are. And when you put those together, you have the perfect form. I've talked to so many of my coaching clients and other entrepreneurs who are trying to force things instead of living their truth. And once you can live your truth, then things are going to work out for you. So in addition to getting business, procuring business, there's all types of different ways. We talked about sales funnels, but I think the first step, Rhonda, is to find out where your genius is and really hone in on that. And I tell people all the time, once you start mixing around, you're going to have things, things will open up for you because you're doing. And that's number 2, which if you don't do anything, you're not getting it. So I have a thing I talk about on the show called knowledge versus know-how. Now, I can gain knowledge by watching TV, reading a book, a documentary, or whatever. So I could read a book about how to fly an F-15 fighter pilot jet. But that doesn't mean I know how to fly, right?
You're right about that.
So know-how comes from doing. So anybody who's a prospective entrepreneur or a current entrepreneur, you have to get that know-how, and that comes by doing. Don't be afraid to fail. That's point number 3. As an entrepreneur, that is part of your process. So don't be afraid to fail. So we're always talking not to fail.
Well, let me ask you this though, because I think many times, many entrepreneurs, and myself included when I first started my company, is that we're afraid to fail because we've put everything that we had into this, and that if this fails, there goes the money, there goes the clients, there goes this, and that's what we're thinking as we're going through this. So sometimes I think it's easy sometimes to say, don't be afraid to fail, but what if we can't afford for it to fail?
Well, that's great motivation.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
I've been there, done that, and I talk about on my podcast, I probably failed in as many businesses as I've been successful. But what happens is, once again, it's like going to college. The more proficient you become, and the less the mistakes become, and that's the way you build and grow. So if you're scared, I used to tell my kids this when they were little. I said, if you're scared, get a dog. All right? So don't. It's just, now I'm not saying quit your job today and put everything on the line tomorrow with no game plan. But you have to be strategic as you go about it. But know this, nothing is guaranteed. What you put in, what you're going to get out. So I see a lot of people that are putting part-time effort and wondering why they're not getting full-time results.
Wow.
I understand you do that a lot of times.
Yes.
But you have to have a plan. And I'm real big on mentors too, Rhonda. So if you're looking to get to a specific business, try to reach out to a mentor, somebody that's 3, 5, 10 steps ahead of you. And that way you can learn from them as you go on. And leverage your current employment, leverage your resources. So if you work for a company, learn everything. Start saving money to build that runway before you step off.
Yes.
You know, so I mean, I could talk to you about this for about 2 hours.
Well, I do want to ask you this though, because this is great advice. You mentioned at the top of the show that you've had your own companies, and you had a mortgage business, or excuse me, a real estate business, and because of the mortgage boom that went away. But what made you decide that this is what you want to do? Not just starting your own business, but being able to help other business owners. Wait, I think your sound just went away again. Okay, I think your sound went away real quick. So hopefully we can get you back in there, because I really want to hear the answer to this question. But I hope you all have been listening in. Basically, what he's saying is that he's not telling you to go quit your job tomorrow and start this company. He's not telling you that it's going to be an overnight success. He's saying that you do have to put into it what you want to get out of it, which I think is a really big thing. And I like what he said, is you can't put part-time effort into something and expect to get full-time results. And I think many times we're doing that. But then at the same time, there are going to be times where we've gotten so full-time in our businesses that we've actually gotten consumed by it, and then we start to become that technician working in our business instead of on our business. So that's something that we see a lot of when we become entrepreneurs. And it sounds like you're back, Jay.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. So going back to the question I asked, what made you decide to start helping other entrepreneurs?
Well, there's something to it when people always come to you for the same thing. So that the light bulb should go on.
Yes.
So I've been an entrepreneur. After I left corporate America, I was a real entrepreneur. But even as a child, I always had different businesses that I created. So people you come to me from an early age, I'm talking about in my teens. Hey Jay, how do I start this business? How do I do that? And one day I was talking to my wife and I said, there's a lot of people in here that could benefit from this information. So let me create this podcast where I tell my story and I bring other Black entrepreneurs on so people can learn from their stories. And that was really it. And just kind of, after 3.5, almost 4 years, just kind of kicked off, and people are finding it. And it's really part of my truth, Rhonda. And that's what I'm saying. My passion is to help people. I'm a teacher by nature.
Yes.
And so my talent, I'm a communicator. So combining the communication and the teaching aspect, that's my gene. Mm-hmm. And that's why I really.
Okay, well, we only have a few minutes left with this portion of the interview, but the next question I want to ask you is, I think is a natural question. You call this the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, and you mentioned why you want to help entrepreneurs. Why particularly Black entrepreneurs? Oh, we lost you again. There we go. There, you're there.
Okay. Well, that's who I am. I identify with that. There's certain intrinsic things that are common for a lot of Black entrepreneurs. And so another reason is I needed to niche the market down. There's a lot of podcasts out there about entrepreneurship, but I didn't really find when I started any of them that talked about Black entrepreneurship and the things that were intrinsic to Black entrepreneurs. A lot of times we don't have the capital to start businesses that I do.
Yes.
We may not have all the resources. And the feedback that I got around that people identify with me because I'm you, you're me. And I have a passionate love for my people. I love everybody.
Yes.
But I have a passionate love.
That's huge. Okay, I think we lost you again, but I mean, I think what you're saying is absolutely correct. I mean, I think just because you choose to help a certain segment of the population does not mean you don't care about other parts of the population. But
Correct.
You saw that there was a niche. There's a certain segment of the population that may not have the resources, may not have the capital, and they needed this help that you had the means to be able to give.
Can I get real with you?
Let's hear it. That's what it's all about now.
I appreciate that too. One of the things that I see when I look at the community, I have two young daughters, a 22-year-old graduated from college. My youngest is 19, freshman in college, finished her freshman year. And I see how a lot of times we are beholden to others. With all of this talent that we have in the time, we have to sit down across from the desk and let somebody else validate if I'm worthy enough to earn a paycheck.
All right.
Now, I know there's certain jobs that you can't recreate. I can't be an FBI agent if I want to. Right?
Yes.
I can't be a firefighter if I want to. But if I want to be an author, if I want to be a podcast host, if I want to be a business owner, I can do that without anybody else's validation.
Yes.
And so I think that we as a people need to start doing for self. And that's really my big thing. Stop being beholden. I remember times when I worked in corporate America, I couldn't do things with my family, my children.
Yes.
Because I had to go to corporate. And I don't know if you know my backstory, Rhonda, but I lost my 17-month-old son to brain cancer years ago. He would have been 17 now. He was my youngest. And I always had a strong sense of family. So my hierarchy is God, family,
yes,
and work.
Yes.
In that order, and it's never going to change. And so when I had the ability to travel with my family and my children when they played field hockey, to the AAU team, the high school team, the summer league team, I hadn't missed a team in 3.5 years. None. Scrimmages or anything. So the important thing to me is I want to live my best life, and I want to share my experiences to help others live their best life. Now, their best life will be totally different from mine.
Yes.
But if I can show you how to create your own money, you'll never be beholden to anybody else in life.
Come on.
And that's the real.
Well, shoot. And on that note, unfortunately, we have to end the interview. But can you tell people where they can find you?
Yeah, well, I have Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. That's my podcast on iTunes, Twitter. iTunes, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio. Just Google Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. I have a new book that's getting ready to come out called The New Black Wall Street, Circulating Black Dollars by Building Successful Ecommerce Businesses. 12 steps to fix this in 12 months. And that's newblackwallstreet.com. newblackwallstreet.com. It's up now. People can pre-order. Please go to the site. But my main platform is Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, the podcast. Just Google it and it'll come up. And you can catch me on Facebook, Twitter, the whole shebang. But before I close out, I thank you for having me on. And I appreciate the platform. And this is what I'm talking about. Taking our own talents and skills and doing for self. And you're doing exactly that.
Thank you so very much. I know I will stay in touch with you, and I'm quite sure many of the people who are listening are going to probably be reaching out to you because you gave some great information. And just remember, everybody, you can find him on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
You got it. Yep.
Okay, and his website, www.blackentrepreneurblueprint.com, and then also the newblackwallstreet.com.
A new Black Wall Street.
I'm sorry, a new Black Wall Street. Yeah, not the a new blackwallstreet.com. So thank you so much, Jay, for joining us tonight. Like I said, we will be back in touch. And so we're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, we're going to meet Mr. Victor McGlothin himself. So stay right there.
Hey, Vic, thanks.
Thank you.
Here at Jones Insurance, your full-service agency, let us take care of all your insurance needs. We provide homeowners insurance, flood, rental, commercial, auto, and life insurance. Don't let the unexpected tragedy destroy your family's future. Here at Jones Insurance, 7603 West Bank Expressway, Monroe, Louisiana, 772. Contact Lois at 504-348-1492.
We're back. Talk What You Know returns on Wednesday mornings at 8 a.m. We got a brand new co-host by the name of Bob B. And hey, that's me. Also, we got some new features. We're going to be giving away, have a weekly raffle of prizes. There are multiple ways for you to win, and there's a bevy of prizes. So we need you to come on back, join us on Wednesday mornings at 8 o'clock for Talk What You Know on the New Orleans Talk Network.
And we're back. So now, those of you who've probably been in the game for a while have heard of this man. You've probably read at least one of his 16 books. And you are probably in the process, as you're listening to this show, going on Amazon to order his new book. So without further ado, let's bring on Mr. Victor McGlothin. How are you tonight? Uh-oh, wait, we gotta fix the sound first.
Did you get that?
There we are. How you doing?
I'm good. I said I miss you on the road. I miss being out there doing our literary thing.
Yes. I was just saying that, like, you know, yeah, I love when I have people on the show who were around when I first got into the business, because you were one of those people that, you know, like, oh, Victor McGlothin is here, you know. Like, oh yeah, I gotta read his book. And so, you know, I was like excited. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get Victor on the show. I was excited. So yeah, I do remember those days when we were out there I think we were probably doing book signings every weekend because we didn't have social media like that back then. You know, we actually had to do all of these different book signings. We had to go travel from city to city. I remember one time going to like 2 or 3 different cities in one weekend. Every time I had time off work, I would, as soon as 4 o'clock on Friday hit, I'd be jumping in my car and headed to somebody's book signing, because that was the only way we promoted our books. We needed to get out there so people knew who we were.
Yeah, we had to be seen every weekend.
True. I mean, now, I guess, I hate to sound old, but they just don't know the struggle.
And the struggle is real.
Yes, it is. So, you're back in the game now. You got this new book, Backsliders. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, Backsliders. You know, what's interesting is I wrote a couple of Christian fiction books a few years ago, Sinful and Sinful 2, and they both did very well. And I was like concerned that, what am I going to do? I don't do what I could. I don't do a lot of other things. So, but I always wanted to tell the story of a minister
But
who,
excuse me, Victor, before you continue, I think you may have to turn your volume down a little. We're getting a little bit of feedback.
all right, let's work it out. How's that?
Let's
Can you
see.
still hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. So go ahead and continue now.
Okay. Yeah, so I wanted to tell a story about a mega church minister who was very wealthy, who had a family, who had a six-bedroom house, and he wasn't stealing from the church.
Okay.
So I put that together. He's a former special agent with the
Wow.
Inspector General's office. So I like to have my crime and punishment in there, where women fall in love and things blow up. That's my formula.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
now, you've been writing Christian fiction for a while, but your Christian fiction is a little different. It's no, I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just saying, I think it's that type of Christian fiction that people can relate to. I mean, it's like you said, it's not always about the person who's stealing from the church or causing a scandal. Sometimes it's just a good story.
Right. It's going to be some redemption, but in order to get to that redemption, you have to see this person fall down, sometimes stay down for a while before they pick themselves up. And the community has to get involved. So there has to be a lot of down on my knees, if you will,
Yes.
prayer before they can even think about getting up.
Amen. 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 That is so true. What book? I know it's like telling somebody to pick their favorite child. You can't do that. But what I know Backsliders right now is the one that you're promoting. That's your newest book. But
Right.
what book do you feel like is your flagship book?
Oh man, since I've been doing this 20 years, and I've taken some time off. This is my 15th novel, my 15th book. So Autumn Leaves is the one that put me on the map. That people still, read that almost 20 years ago. I read that over and over again. Now that my daughter is in college, we read that together. Because the story was set in college. Miss Edith's Past House was set in the 1940s in St. Louis, and Secrets of Newberry. I love period pieces, so that was set
Yes.
in New Orleans in 1955.
Come on now.
But it,
You know we like our
if
New
I
Orleans
had to pick-
books.
Go ahead.
So you know we like our New Orleans books.
Oh yeah, I know you did that. Yeah. So I did Schemers, which came out 2 years ago. Schemers was about this group of men who were well trained in the arts of making love. They spoke foreign languages. They were smooth. They were taught to be. So they would meet very wealthy women and women from very wealthy families, and then they would coerce them into a relationship. And they would videotape them, and they would threaten the family with blackmailing them. It's going to be minimum $5 million or they bomb. So yeah, you look like what? Yeah. So I jumped from blackmail to redemption.
I see that.
Yeah.
But I love
none of us are perfect.
You're
They say
right.
none of us are perfect.
You're right. None of us are perfect. I mean,
Yeah, so-
everybody has their struggle. Everybody has their cross to bear.
Right. So I go from grimy to glitzy and everything in between.
From grimy to glitzy. Okay, I'm gonna use that on something. That's gonna be my hashtag.
Yeah, use it. But that's what writers have to do. We have to go the whole spectrum from somebody who can't figure it out to somebody who's got it all.
So how long before Backsliders? How long had it been since you had released a new one?
Schemers 2 years ago. Before Schemers, about 4 years.
Okay, so why such the long break? Did you just take a break from it for a minute? Did you want to go back into the as we say, go back into the drawing room for a little while?
No, right. I was done.
Really?
I had multiple deals, 3, 4, 5 book deals. I was tired of the industry. It was changing. There were people who really don't embrace the craft of writing, and they were throwing books out left and right. So, and a lot of readers were trying a lot of new stuff, and it took a while for the process to kind of weed itself out. And then, of course, readers now kind of finding their way back to true literature.
Wow.
Yeah, and then during that time, I did 2 30-minute short films. I did a 90-minute feature. I wrote, produced, directed, cast, everything. Texas Hoodoo Zombies, which was a black zombie comedy.
Whoa. That's
Yeah.
something you don't see every day.
Nah, well, I wanted to do something that was funny and it was very, very hood, uh, but, but but professionally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and I was actually going to touch on that, but I do want to say, first of all, I appreciate your honesty for you to just say that you had just kind of gotten tired of the industry, because there are some people who aren't brave enough to say that.
Well, I said it at the time, and I think I upset a lot of publishers. I said I felt soul raped, by the industry, because people like you and I were really pouring in and writing books that 20 years from now, are still being well received, and people who are just getting to know Victor McGlothin, they're reading Backsliders, and they just read Schemers, and then they're looking back saying, "Hey, man, I read books that you wrote, 7, 8, 9 years ago, and I love them. Where you been?" I said, "I've been doing film. I did TV. I did free pilots. Had Fox and CBS look at a couple of things, and I might, you know, I'm not gonna jinx myself, but it looks like Backsliders is gonna get a lot of attention on the network."
Well, we're going to make sure that we do what we can to help it get that attention that it deserves. I'll tell you that. But when we're going to take a quick little break, and when we get back, I do want to talk a little bit more about how you made that transition into film and script writing, and then we'll also talk about the literary services that you offer on your website, because I did a little stalking on you, right?
Oh, you checked out my new site?
Yeah, I did. I did.
All right.
Okay, so we'll be right back, and you guys stay right there. We're going to hear a whole lot more from Victor McGlothin. You stay right there. Don't you move.
That's what's up.
What's up, readers and shakers? It's your girl, Rhonda M Lawson, sending you a personal invite to the Literary Lounge. Tune in to Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions each Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for the best in literary conversation. Each week, a different author will join us to talk to their most important readers, you. You can also call in to ask your own questions. So don't forget, each Wednesday at 7 p.m., join us in the lounge for Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. See you there.
Are you looking for a home to live stream your next event? Give us a call here at Bethesda Community Event Center, the only place on a golf course that can host and broadcast live your wedding reception, your baby shower, business seminar, and any other special event. Give us a call at 504-708-9454 for more details.
Happy Merry Mondays. It's your girl, Mary J. I want you to tune in with me to Real Talk with Mary J on New Orleans Talk Network every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Then follow me to blogtalkradio.com/Real Talk with Mary J at 10 p.m. It's going to be a Merry Monday every Monday at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. You've just tuned into New Orleans Talk Network.
What's up, readers and shakers? It's your girl, Rhonda M Lawson, sending you a personal invite to the Literary Lounge. Tune in to Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions each Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for the best in literary conversation. Each week, a different author will join us to talk to their most important readers, you. You can also call in to ask your own questions. So don't forget, each Wednesday at 7 p.m., join us in the lounge for Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. See you there. And we're back. We are talking to Mr. Victor McGlothin, 16-time published best-selling author, and right now he is promoting his new book, Backsliders, and and then we have some artwork for. We're going to show everybody the cover real quick. But who is this man next to the cover, Mr. Victor? One quick second. There we are.
Yeah, but I wanted to use the image because one of the main characters is Deacon Stephen Mosley. So Deacon Mosley is black as soot. He's smooth. He's always a couple of fingertips away from his semi-automatic weapon, and he's a church deacon.
Mm. Okay, that doesn't sound like any church deacons that I've met in my lifetime.
I've been getting that lately. But you know what makes Backsliders different is you have these young cats who are deacons with church ministers, and they are responsible for 7, 8 thousand people that come every week.
Yes.
And so when you have a church that size, you're going to have some serious issues. You're going to have some drugs involved. So you're trying to get drug dealers out the congregation. You're going to have people who beat their wives. So one of the stories that I tell in this, one of the scenes I like to say, is there was this guy, Grady. So Brother Grady kept beating his wife and told him not to. So, brother, we don't do that here at Mega Church. And he continued to do it. So they snatched him up, chunked him, tied him up, chunked him, and then they chained him with his socks and underwear to a concrete floor in the basement for 3 days.
Oh, my.
And they waterboarded him, and they electroshocked him, and they deprogrammed him. And they killed him, but they said they'd much rather preside over his funeral than his wife. These are the kind of things that go on in Backsliders. So you have these cats who are responsible. They're they're church leaders, but they have to make sure to keep the church and the congregation safe.
Wow. Okay, yeah, I think I'll be ordering my copy tonight. You have it on audiobook? Because this sounds like something I want to just listen to.
You know what? I haven't been approached by an audiobook company, but the book just came out like 5 days ago.
Yeah, that's true. It's still new. So don't worry. I'm just going to go ahead and read it. And I'm going to start reading it tonight because this sounds crazy.
Rhonda, I guarantee you've never read anything like this because I've never read anything like this. I've never even heard of anything like this.
I was just about to ask you, where did you get these ideas?
Well, I wanted to write something for Netflix. I wanted to write something that blew Empire out of the water. I wanted to write something that rivaled Power, but from a Christian standpoint.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I said, I'm going to write something that's going to be so edgy that networks are going to be saying, dude, we want this. So the book is 105,000 words, 400 pages. I wrote it in 87 days.
87 days?
87 days, 105,000 words.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. Let's talk about this writing process. That's 105,000 words in 87 days. How many pages do you think you averaged per day?
Probably per week, because I was only doing 3 or 4 a day. But on the weekends, I would average maybe 12, 13 a day. So I caught up on the weekends because I'm working a full-time job, for the first time in a long time. So trying to work full-time and have full-time, I gained 20 pounds, but it was worth it.
Yes, I know what you're saying. Back when I first started, I was full-time military, a single parent, and trying to write books at night after my daughter went to sleep, and then trying to sign books on the weekend. So I know where you're going.
I remember that. I do.
Yes. Now, so let's talk a little bit more about this writing process, because it used to be a belief that a fiction book should be somewhere between 80 and 100,000 words. Do you believe that still holds true? And the reason I asked that question is because you're seeing a lot of shorter books these days. So do you think it still holds true that we should stick to that 80 to 100,000 word range?
You know what? That's where I feel comfortable. If I'm not 75, 85,000 words minimum, I don't feel like I'm telling a whole story. It's almost like I'm setting up for a sequel. Leaving people thinking it's beautiful.
Yes.
So, but what I'm starting to discover are that people are writing 220-page books and they're making a killing.
Mm-hmm. They are.
Because a lot of times people have a short attention span. One of the ladies from a book club in Houston told me this book is too long. I said, too long. I said, but every page is like watching a TV show. She said, yeah, it's good. It moves. I said, so why are you complaining? She said, I'm just not used to being caught up like this. And then 3 days later, I'm still caught up and I'm still reading the book. I said, you want me to write shit? Had you wish this book was shorter? She said, no, because I want more. I'm like, there you go. So I got like 2 seasons worth of TV shows in this one book. Give the people what they want. and give them what they pay for, right?
And that's true. But see, I remember, and this was years ago, and I really would like to see if it's that same way now. But years ago, readers would complain if the book was too short. They didn't feel that they got
They
their
used
money's
to.
worth if the book was too short. So, do you
Yeah,
think this is maybe a younger generation that maybe
well,
doesn't have as much time?
well, no, not as much time, but just think about it. There's Facebook, there's Twitter, there's all these things that could be distractions. There's a
Yeah.
million to watch on television. So, it's quick. It's just like, okay, I'm going to watch this for 30 minutes and I'm going to change and watch this for an hour. I'm going to TiVo it, then I'm going to speak to commercials. And a lot of times they want immediate gratification and want the book to be shorter. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just can't.
And no, you have to stick to what's in your heart. You have to stick to what you believe in, or else basically you're going to be controlled by the whims of the public, and the whims of the public change way too much for that. So
Yeah, but during that we see people making a lot of money writing books half our size.
true, true.
So we have to deal with it. And like today, I was really confronted with this new author that I saw, and I saw she was doing it. I was like, oh my goodness, her book's 210 pages, 205, 195, and she's getting like 700 reviews. Like, what the hell? But I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that anyway, so that's got
Yeah.
nothing to do with it.
And it probably wouldn't be you because you have a loyal fan base who wouldn't be used to you writing a book as short, and they will probably feel a little shortchanged knowing it came from you.
Oh, they were clowning, yes, absolutely. Straight trip.
Now, I did have somebody leave a comment. Somebody feels, her name is Vanessa Ross. She's an author here in New Orleans. And
Okay.
she feels that you are another Tyler Perry on the rise. I mean, have you heard something like that before?
I've been hearing that for like the last 5 years. Because I've written 5 screenplays. I've done 3 TV show pilots where I've written them, produced them, directed, cast, everything. I'm just waiting on somebody from the network to say, dude, can I get 2 or 3 of your shows?
Yes.
And we offer them.
What made you decide to start writing scripts and pilots and so forth?
Well, that's what I wanted to do. I started writing novels because being from Dallas in the late 90s, people were telling me you can't do film from Dallas. You have to go to New York. You got to go to LA. And that was even before Atlanta and New Orleans got hot.
Yeah.
So I said, in order to get my shows on television, I'm gonna have to write a book, and hopefully someday someone will adapt, 1 or 2. Well, it never happened, so I started doing it myself. I got laid off on a job like 6 years ago, and with that severance check, I got me a movie camera, and I taught myself how to use it, and said, hey, all these people doing stage plays around town, which y'all like to do film. And they said, yeah, who's gonna do it? I said, me. So
Wow.
we did it. We started doing short films, and then I learned enough to do it.
Wow. So now what you're also doing is you are you turning other people's books into scripts now?
Yes. If they have some money, the answer is yes. If they don't, the answer is no.
Okay, now I have a question about that because a lot of people may think that they can do that. Oh, I can turn your book into a play or I can turn your book into a movie, but there are some nuances about that. I mean, and there are some subtle differences between a play script and a movie script. There are some things that many times we have to take note of. For instance, scene changes, costume changes, direction. So how do you keep all of that in mind when you're turning somebody's baby into a toddler, so to speak?
Yeah, it was the hardest thing for me because I'd written by that time, I think, 9 books. And so when I started to do screenwriting, when you're writing a novel, she walked into the room, she smelled the cigarette smoke. It was warm, so your senses are really activated. You can see, hear, and smell what it's like to be in a room, or when you walk outside or what have you. When you write a screenplay, you walk in the room, period.
Yeah.
That's it. You don't talk about the room, you don't talk about the room size, color, or anything. You say it's dark, maybe. So I had to learn how to strip down everything I learned how to do by building up a scene. I just tearing it down. She walked in the room, she picked up the phone. Someone moved, she screamed. I mean, simple stuff like that.
You don't need to put all of that description in.
That's it. Yeah, no description.
Right.
Dialogue, direction, and action. So you talk about the nuances. Nuances really come because you can't put everything in. So when people read a book, go see a movie and say, they took a lot out. Because you can't put everything in a film and make it 90 minutes.
Yes,
So
a
you
book
take
is going to
out,
probably be 300 pages. Your script is going to be maybe 45 to 60.
well, yes. Well, what happens is if you want a full length feature, then it has to be at least 90 minutes, one page of the script per minute on the screen.
Yes.
But my first script was, my first movie script was 200 pages because I didn't know what to cut out. So I put everything in.
So who pulled you
And
to
I
the
had
side and who turned your collar and said, "Look, let me tell you what you need to do."
Tracy Grant, who's a writer in LA.
Yes.
Tracy used to write novels. He's like, "Jay, I love it, dude. But there's some things you got to learn about this. It's formulaic. Your main characters don't get to page 7. They need to meet the first 3 pages. So it's the first 3 minutes. And then all this other stuff isn't necessary. Only even when it's necessary. Take the bones, add a little meat, and strip everything out."
Mm.
Yeah, so I had to learn it.
And that's the thing. I mean, and you had been writing for a while by then, and you still opened your mind to learn something new. And I think that's something that a lot of us have to remember is that no matter how long we've been in the business, no matter how long we've been writing, no matter how great we think our talent is, there's always some room to learn.
Yeah, because there are a lot of us who've been in business for a while who will say, I tried script writing, but it was too hard, so I quit. So I'll tell them, get back in and try it again.
Yes.
Maybe that wasn't the time for you to get it. Maybe now's the time for you to get it.
All right, I'm going to take 1 minute before we close because another question came in. Alan Cheeseman, he's another author. He asked for, and if you can maybe encapsulate this in about a minute or so, what are your thoughts on traditional versus self-publishing?
Well, traditional is hard because you have to have an agent and a publisher company who believes in you, willing to put money up front to make them happen. Now with Create Space, 48-hour books, anyone can be a writer and a published author.
Yes.
Making money on it, that's a different story.
And that's the hard part. When you're self-published, I mean, basically you're doing a lot of convincing. You're convincing a bookstore to let you in. You're convincing a reader to take a chance on you. You're convincing a lot of the festivals maybe to let you in to sign. There's so much that goes along with it, but once you get it down, you basically control your dynasty with that.
Yeah, you do. I mean, because when I first came out, people were like, "Well, you're not you're not Omar Talbi, you're not Elon Harris. Who are you?" I said, "I'm Victor McGlothin. I write like me." And so I was rejected 45 times before I got booked.
Well, all right. Well, I wish we didn't have to end it, but it is just about 8 o'clock. So I want to take this last minute. Tell people where they can find you, where they can find your book. Maybe talk about some of the services that you offer.
Oh, okay. I do like scripts for people if they want to get their movie, their booking tour thing. I do offer that. They can go to victormcglothin.com and check me out, or just go Backsliders on Amazon or Barnes and Noble. Go pick it up. I guarantee you have never read a book like this.
Well, I am typing your website into the chat right now so people can find you. Victor McGlothin. Oh, almost spelled it wrong. VictorMcGlothin.com. It is in there. All right, so
yes, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Last 30 seconds. Any final thoughts that you'd like to leave?
No, everybody, say your prayers, cross your fingers, cross your eyes, do whatever. Because Backsliders is going to hit, and on my other 3 shows, my pilots are already filmed. They're just waiting. I'm going to be discovered.
All right, now y'all heard it here. You heard it here on Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. So thank you so much, Victor, for joining me tonight. I was really excited to have you, and you did not let me down. I appreciate that. And I also want to thank Jay Jones for sharing his knowledge on building our businesses. This has been a great show. Really great information has been on this show. And I want to thank you for being a part of this and continuing to support Horizons. We're almost 1 year old. Can you believe that? We're almost 1 year old, this show is. And
Congratulations.
yes, and it's grown because of great authors like yourself, Victor, and it's grown because of great supporters and great viewers like the people who are watching tonight. So I want to thank you all. Remember, if you ever need assistance with publicity, with literary services, contact Meet the World Image Solutions. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Twitter, LinkedIn. We also have a website, www.mtwimagesolutions.com. So there's no excuse for not being able to find us. So you guys, you have a wonderful night. Have a great rest of the week. And we will see you next week where we will get to know two awesome sisters who have taken a literary entrepreneur journey together and have both received their doctorates. And they are 15 years apart. So we're going to learn a little bit more about the degree girls next week. But tonight, thank you once again to Victor McGlothin and Jay Jones. You guys have a fabulous week. Bye-bye.